Well, here we are back at this situation here where there was a pretty well established branch and it split. Right here, we had to take off part of it because it was, it split in two. Here's the remnants of the middle part, and there was part going this way too, and that was not going to be supported. So we cut that back way back here. So let's step back for just a minute here, and this is what's interesting. Well, one of the many things is even with like less than half of the original diameter of the branch that was split, this one has continued to thrive. Well, that one's not that same branch, but this branch right here has gotten fruit on it. Like, this is pretty big. It looks like it's going to support a bunch of fruit all the way to maturity. We have young fruit and we have the older, pretty darn big fruit. So that's pretty interesting. Even with, like really cutting off a lot of the resources and it being on the ground, it's still producing. Now, this is something I just noticed, and I find this even more interesting, and that is there was a shoot that developed from this remaining splinter as like just the halfway point between the two splits, and this is developing very well, and that surprises me because we've had fruit emerging from, for instance, Rosa, where the bloom comes right out of the bark, and in every instance on Rosa, it has failed to grow the fruit. But here we have fruit that's growing, and these leaves are actually part of mixed bloom. These are not real leaves, but apparently it's enough to support the flow of food and resources to these fruit. So these fruit, even though they're in a really weird circumstance, might actually grow to maturity and be good. So as you might remember, this originally was a Cushman tree, and there are quite a few parts of the larger tree that are still Cushman. But then we have this situation. This branch is on the ground. It's amazing that it's producing the fruit and is as healthy as it is. But it's a situation that I have to deal with. The short-term thing that I should do is find something to prop this branch up off of the ground, because I hate to have this branch giving it its all, growing the fruit, and then the fruit being on the ground where eventually some small animal or insects will start eating the fruit. So getting that off the ground is step one. Step two is like correcting this situation. This was a short-term, let's see what happens situation, but the larger issue is this right here. And even though this is amazingly productive for this, very huge and significant damage to this branch, long-term, what I need to do, and basically it's going to be right after we pick the last fruit from this area, is cut this down, cut this back to where, as far as we can. The split goes down to here, so I think we can cut it all the way across, and then the next job will be to top work some of these Cushman branches, and so that we still have some Cushman and some Sugarloaf.